What's poppin', gamers? You've caught me preparing my yearly gift to the local children's hospital. You ever think that you're a bad person? Like, not even necessarily you're doing something bad, but you're just sitting there and you're like, is this what a normal, functional member of society does? Well, me too. Giving to some dumb fuck with leukemia isn't helping. Unfortunately, as a non-functioning member of society, I don't know how to do anything that doesn't involve a Nintendo DS. Fortunately though, everything I need to improve is already on the DS. The DS is one of the best selling game consoles of all time, largely because of its appeal to non-gamers. Having a lot of games that aren't really games, and more so applications to help you improve yourself. Games to improve brain function, help people work out, hell, pass their driving test. So if I'm gonna learn to be a not piece of shit, might as well start with the DS. And why not kick things off with not only one of its most popular self-help games, but most popular games in general. Brain Age. The game's all about playing a few mini-games each day meant to stimulate your brain. You open it up for the first time and it asks you for some information, like your name and age. What are you, a cop? From there you just hold the DS on its side to answer a few questions on the touchscreen, like counting syllables, simple math problems, or trying to memorize the order of numbers from lowest to highest. The goal is to lower your brain age, with daily checks feeding you 3 random mini-games to determine it. It's honestly pretty addicting to go back every day trying to beat your best time on the mini-game and lower your brain age. Though I'm a little insulted the game thought my brain was 80 years old. Sometimes you even get bonus challenges, like the game asking you a question that you have to remember the answer to on a later date, or asking you to draw stuff like a giraffe for Africa. That's Italy. A lot of the game's success though has to be attributed to the big polygonal elephant in the room. This is Dr. Ryuta Kawashima, a neuroscientist and expert on brain imaging who oversaw the game's creation. Honestly, having a neuroscientist with a giant floating polygonal head, immaculate creative decision. Seeing this guy was half the reason I bothered to play. And clearly I'm not the only one either, with him getting his own assist trophy in Super Smash Bros. 4, making him the second best Smash character with a medical license. And honestly, I support the guy, with his goal being to use games to help the elderly. Video games can stimulate people's brains and help with coordination in ways that old people who can't move much might have trouble with otherwise. Which supports something I've been saying for years, that instead of plopping old people in retirement homes to sit around playing bingo, we need to fill them with consoles, turn them into content houses, and let Granny crank 90s. I unironically think this would increase life expectancy. Clearly Brain Age was doing something right too, with it getting a few sequels, including one on the Switch, that never released in the West. I see how it is, my grandma's not good enough to save. My only real complaint is that sometimes it's really shit at registering what I write. When you write a 7, you need to write it with a line in the middle, even though the in-game font doesn't have it. And it only gets worse when you try to write out full words. For something so simple though, it feels really complete. If I had anything else, I'd honestly think it would be too much. Holy shit, Sudoku. I've been told there's more parts of the body than the brain though, which is where Personal Trainer Walking comes in. One of a handful of personal trainer games made by Nintendo. It was made in collaboration with Creatures Inc., the team behind Pokemon, which makes sense considering that it came with a pedometer that's technologically identical to the Pokewalker. It was also the most advanced pedometer in the world at the time. Say what you want about Pokemon, when they want something done, they're getting it done. Another fun fact about the Pokewalker is that I have like 4 of them. Me and my siblings all got new copies of Heart Gold and Soul Silver when they came out, so I got a bunch of these things. And I lost all of them. Clearly, it's not on my fate to own one of these things, so I might as well see how far I can get without it. My Weight Loss Coach. This is a similar game made by Ubisoft, and it comes with a pedometer. I picked this up a while ago because it was a sealed DS game with an accessory for $10. I'd be dumb not to buy that. Holding this, it definitely does not feel like the most advanced pedometer in the world. I got quite a few steps just by shaking it and I can hear it rattle the whole time, which didn't happen with the Pokewalker. At least I think it didn't. I haven't seen one since I was like 8. I miss you. The game itself also came upside down in the case, and I found another video of someone opening a sealed copy, and their game came upside down too. So I don't know what was going on at the game packing factory that day, but I hope someone lost their job over this. This is unacceptable. You start off by again entering your age, but also your height and weight to calculate your BMI. This game more than any other shows off what I meant when I said these are more applications than games. With it just being about using this little guy to track how many steps you walk, your diet, and other physical activity you do in a day. With all the activity being visualized as distance walked, with stuff like eating better giving you extra steps. But it can only track your actual steps, so on the first day I walked the distance up Everest. Even with the pedometer, if you don't plug it into the Game Boy Advance slot, you can enter your steps manually, which is great if you lose it or something. Well, in my case, it doesn't work too well. It said I was supposed to wear it on my waist, but I'd rather die than be seen in public like this, so I just kept it in my pocket and missed like 90% of my steps. The most game element here is the daily challenges. Some of them are good suggestions, but there's a lot of stuff that I just don't think are gonna be helpful. Make a colorful meal? Okay. I could see it being useful for someone to track their health in a time before there was like a bagillion health tracking apps out there, but considering a sealed copy is $10, I don't think they did. This is a fine fitness game and all, it doesn't appeal to my penis enough. Thankfully, Conspiracy Entertainment was listening when they made personal fitness for men. This is a little more extreme than my weight loss coach. Well, that was just a tracking tool. Personal fitness gives you actual training machines and exercises to perform. To start out, it again asks for your weight, height, and gender, which kind of defeats the purpose, but okay. Then you have a fitness test that I figured I should at least try. I completely failed the push-up section, but made up for it by doing more sit-ups than the game would let me put in. You are more muscular than many other people. Guilty as charged. After that, you can choose a workout plan to add to your calendar, and it gives you some meal plans. I noticed some problems though, so thankfully it lets you edit them. I get very thirsty. Well, I'm bored. Time to switch teams. Personal fitness for women. I won't tell if you don't. Starts out pretty much the same except with an extra lie. After the fitness test, I get back to seeing the workout plan and diets, and yeah, these are the exact same game. These are the exact same game except one's blue and one's purple. I mean, it makes sense. The same basic workouts are gonna be good for you regardless of gender. But also, what's the f***ing point of this then? It's like when people found out that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were the same game, but with one line of code deciding which one got loaded. Yeah, it's technically fine, there's no need to make them separate, but why are we doing this then? The only other difference I could find was that one of the workout plans for men was about building muscle, while for women it was about reducing back pain. Which is bullshit! Women can be muscular too. If you're a muscular woman, let me know. Here's my phone number. Call me. Text me. Anytime. Please. I have money. Other than that, I just really hate these menus. They're a confusing slog to get through. It's all based around these blocks and it's not really clear what anything does, and it just looks so ugly. I got so mad looking at these that I had to spend 3 hours staring at the Persona 3 Reload pod screen to calm down. Why was it orange? Well, we might as well go back to the personal trainer games. With personal trainer cooking. You see, I've always believed it's my calling in life to become a chef. Sure, I can only cook scrambled eggs, but they got me covered. The dear chef will be guiding me through the process while I cook, with the microphone being used to go to the next step or repeat a step and such. Go! You can even set voice speed, which could be useful for someone with slow ears. But I have no such weakness, we're speedrunning this shit. Start by cutting some tomatoes into wedges. I accidentally diced them, but I only lost like 3 hours of sleep over it. Break your eggs into a bowl with some salt, and beat them. You look like my son. Heat them in a pan and voila! Not my fastest work, but it'll do. Oh, I feel some confidence kicking in. Let's move up a level. Bucatini. Slice some onions and pancetta, cut some tomatoes, boil up a bit of pasta. I didn't have any bucatini, so instead we're using fettuccine. It sounds like 70% the same. Now we add some wine, mixing the pasta and the sauce, and damn it, every time. I'm still giving myself a stamp, I earned it. Well, I've completely failed my heritage, but I haven't failed my bloodline. It's time to follow in my father's footsteps. Bridge training. It has training in the name. This is a self-help game. It's a game made to teach you how to play bridge. At least I think. It has a tutorial section, but instead of being a tutorial, it just gives you a scrolling wall of text. After that though, we have the lessons. These are also just scrolling walls of text. This one lesson went on for like 15 minutes. I've never played bridge before, but there's only like 54-ish cards, it can't be that complicated. I'm just gonna have to wing it and I lost horribly. From what I can gather, the top and bottom hand are working together. That's it. There's still one more personal trainer game left though. Personal Trainer Math. It's a lot like Brain Age, except being more targeted towards kids and everything being math. I know it's outright designed to teach math, more so being designed to keep kids sharp between classes. The daily test serves up 3 rounds of questions, getting harder as you do more days and rise through the ranks, adding more advanced questions and even word problems. There's also the Kageyama method developed by Professor Kageyama. Great name. F***ing narcissist. Basically, it's a randomized table which you have to add up or subtract the numbers on each axis. It's probably the simplest out of any of these games. It's also my favorite. Everything about this game is just so cute and charming. The background music, the sound it makes when you're writing, these random squares in the background. Kageyama. F***ing Professor Kageyama. I thought being a floated polygonal head was genius. Being whatever this is better. And if you play on weekends, he's wearing casual clothing. I would die for this man. This is also the game with the best number recognition. But I just to think for a second before it knew what you were saying. Personal Trainer Math? Instant. You can even tell a 7, Just like that, no line needed. And unlike Brain Age, if the game reads something wrong, you have time to actually hit erase and change your answer, instead of it just instantly locking in as wrong the second you realize the game made a mistake. If anything, the game gives you too much time to change your answer. You have to sit there for like 5 seconds before it says you got something wrong. So you could really just keep writing numbers until you get the right one. But that's cheating, and do you really want to cheat in front of Kageyama? When I said this was the last of the personal trainer games though, I kinda completely lied. There is one more. English training. Have fun improving your skills. This takes some explaining. You see, personal trainer math was actually called Professor Kageyama's math training in Europe. Same for Brain Age, which was called Dr. Kawashima's brain training. How old is your brain? So English training probably would have been a personal trainer game, but it was only released in Japan and Europe, which makes no sense. North Americans are like the best at speaking English. I can play English training just as good, if not better than some French f***. Fun fact, in Canada you actually have to take 11 years of French classes as part of the curriculum. But they were stupid and dumb, so I never listened. That just makes it even better, because it means we can go in blind. Same as everything else, we started with an initial test, with the voice saying something that I have to write in English. Maybe for stupid Eurotrash it will be hard, but I have no problems, this game is f***ing rigged. Okay, so this game has the worst pattern recognition of any of them. Maybe 4 words were just too much for the DS, but it does not pick up anything. I think it's trying to use how you write the letter along with what it is, because unless you write P from the bottom up, it's just not going to recognize it. It reminds me of this Atomic Frontier video about how AI recognizes random parts of objects instead of the whole thing. Like how it can recognize random shapes as a banana if it has the right characteristics. Even then though, I got everything right. It was a little slow because of recognition problems, but come on, how high are your standards for a beginner? After that, there's practice where you write out sentences the game says, and if you come back every day you can write out sentences the game says. This is all there is. Maybe it's because I can't read the menus, but all I got was the game telling me to write something, and then I write it. I don't even see how this would help someone learn English. It doesn't give definitions or anything, it's just writing what the game tells you to. Anyways, I got an S, we're moving on. Clearly, if anyone can make a good English teaching game, it's Ubisoft. With My English Coach. This one shows you a word in your chosen language. I chose French. And then you guess what it means in English. This is just learning French in reverse, isn't it? Enough English. I'm learning a new language. My Japanese Coach. I still don't know what's going on, but at least that's expected. It's pretty much the same thing. I have an English word and guess the Japanese version. This time I managed to unlock some new mini games though, like Whack-A-Mole where I hit the right word. It's kind of fun, I guess. I just don't really think it's helping me learn a language. Duolingo's proven that pretty much all these language learning thingamajigs are way more games than actual way to learn. So if you want to hit both, good. Learn Japanese, bad. It does have a dictionary mode that shows you definition and even lets you practice drawing kanji. Damn it, that's Italy again. I'll have to question some of these word choices, because I don't really think the Japanese would appreciate if I just went around saying kamikaze. If only there was an easier way to get the Japanese to rearrange your face. I lied again. We have one more training game that might have been a personal trainer if it were released outside of Japan and Europe. Face Training DS. This game gives you facial exercise that is supposed to make you more beautiful. It even comes with the DS camera, an accessory made just for it. It also got a DSi version that can use the built-in camera, being one of only 5 DSi exclusives. For whatever reason though, I just couldn't get it to work. So instead I spiraled into a deep depression. I'm bored. Driver Ed Portable, the first DS game that teaches you how to operate heavy machinery. It's pretty much a bunch of practice quizzes that prepare you for the actual test. It also had a section that teaches you how to change a tire and do an oil change, but for the life of me, I could not figure out how to finish them. I do all the steps, but the game would just keep going. So I figured I had to click the done button myself, but then it would tell me I wasn't finished yet and only give me the options to either restart or quit the game. So I tried the section again, rinse and repeat, until I gave up. There's also a game where you see a road and have to click all the mistakes, but I couldn't figure out what parts were actually interactable or not, so I just gave that up too. I could see a place for this though. When I got my license, I downloaded a bunch of quiz apps to practice for the written test. I also had to take an online driver's ed course that wasn't too different from this, with it just being me watching a slideshow while a text-to-speech voice told me stuff, and occasionally answering a question or doing a mini-game. And I only failed my driving test twice. I did spend most of the course playing Minecraft parkour though. Well, that's enough drinking for one day. Let's try cigarettes. Dude, it was one puff, it cannot be that bad.
It's not. I know
lung full of molten cotton. Now that I'm sufficiently addicted, it's time for my Stop Smoking coach with Alan Carr. It's him again! These games are both part of the Ubisoft My Coach series, so at first I thought, okay, maybe he's like their mascot. But my Japanese and English coach are also part of this franchise, and they don't have him. There's also my SAT coach, my fun fact coach, and my cooking coach. All my coach games, none this guy. This is another case of Europe making everything worse, because these games are actually part of the sub-franchise My Health Coach, being My Health Coach Manage Your Weight and My Health Coach Stop Smoking. So I'm assuming this guy's the mascot of those games in particular. There was also a 3DS game called My Life Coach that was cancelled, but I found an IGN article talking about an early build, and sure enough, there he is. Or she, but you get the point. The real question though, is why isn't My Cooking Coach Prepare Healthy Recipes part of the My Health Coach franchise? It has healthy in the name. Getting back to my Stop Smoking coach though, I need to enter my name, and god damn it, that's Italy again! Touch the one that's most important to you. I do have a son. Video games. This is definitely one of the more interesting self-help games. Being an adaptation of a self-help book, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Alan Carr, it pretty much goes through every reason and excuse people have for smoking, and then debunks them until hopefully by the end they don't feel the need to smoke anymore. With the minigames probably just being there to make them more memorable. You think smoking will help relieve stress, remember the dentist game, and go, oh yeah, temporarily smoking may slightly reduce stress, but in the long run it will only make me feel more anxious. The book seems to work for some people, so there could be a few people out there who just actually helped quit smoking, which is honestly pretty impressive for a DS game. I've officially quit smoking, learned English, and can drive. That was just one more thing standing between me and being an upstanding member of society. And it's the worst one yet. I need to get a job. I know, because against everything I stand for, but if it'll make me a better person, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Involving the DS. Thankfully, this is where the games ECDP and eSmart come in. DS games made to teach people how to work at McDonald's. These were only sent to a handful of McDonald's in Japan, and came with a special McDonald's themed system. The goal was for McDonald's workers to play them when they had free time in order to learn the ropes, with one McDonald's exec saying it would help them train new workers twice as fast. Because they were only available to McDonald's workers though, these were actually lost media for the longest time, with them only being seen in a handful of Japanese news broadcasts. This was until YouTuber Nick Robinson managed to buy a copy of ECDP from a Japanese auction and dump the ROM online. Later, Cody Trentwood also managed to get a copy of eSmart, and with the help of former game preservationist Forest of Illusion managed to dump that too. For the most part, these are the same game, with ECDP being made for new employees while eSmart is for existing ones, with it being a little bit harder. ECDP also has a character creator that eSmart doesn't. Keep the funny business to the newbies, you're here to make a McChicken, not to make me. The main gameplay is tutorials on how to make different menu items, like fries, quarter pounders, and even some Japanese exclusives like the Teriyaki McBurger. It gives a layout of the process, where everything should be in your store, and the exact steps to take. The game also times you to see if you pass or fail the lesson, and maybe it was because I was playing eSmart, but the timing is ridiculously strict, which I'd call unfair if it wasn't realistic. It's honestly not a bad game. The controls feel better than a game like Driver's Ed Portable. For training workers, I still think on-the-job experience is best, but I could see eSmart's speedrunning communities existing, or even the game being sold publicly as a novelty back in the day. The only reason I could think of for why this never happened is that it has some secrets they might not want the general public to know. This does confirm all their burgers are frozen, which honestly, I don't get why people care about frozen food. If it tastes good, what's the problem? There's no reason to boycott McDonald's. Boycott because they support the IDF. And there we have it! All the self-help games for the DS. Or at least the ones I care about. This begs the question though, with so many self-help games just for this one console, why are they all gone? Why does the Switch have like 3 fitness games in a brain age I can't have? Well, it's pretty easy to see why. Most of these games remind me of things that I can just have on my phone. There are endless fitness apps, language apps, driver's ed apps, even quit smoking apps. These games had their time. A time where if you wanted an application on a portable device, a game console was really the best way to do it. But now, why would I carry around my Switch with me when the phone I already take everywhere can track my steps? Honestly, this might be a good thing. It means that the few self-help games that do exist can focus on being actual games. Ring Fit Adventure is a full RPG that could work even without the exercise aspect. And fitness boxing is Hatsune Miku. I think I'm finally ready. I'm gonna integrate into society. Yo, yo, you guys taking new members?
Yeah, as long as you don't try to bring a Nintendo DS. Oh my god!